Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about what some people call love bombing. And yeah, I call it love bombing too. I don't know where the term originated. But the way I see, was thinking of it is that one day, probably a month or so ago, I never did the video, is how flattery will get them everywhere. Okay. Now see, I'm kind of, well, I don't know how to put this because I don't want to blame any victim, do the whole victim blaming thing, because when you start to say something about what you are doing, that is like as if you're attracting this, and no, they will go for anybody, okay, and you could be a very strong person, and maybe you're just in a time in your life when something has gone wrong and you're not at your best right then, and they zone in on it, they come right then, hone in on it, or zone in on it, yeah, but you're at a weak moment for whatever reason, there could have been a death in the family, there could have been, or just, you lost your job, whatever it is, it could be, and in sometimes, in some instances, it isn't, but anyway, they will flatter you, and that really kind of sums it all up, but it does go further than that. Okay. And generally, how people talk about it is that you're single, you're dating, you meet somebody, and they fill you with a lot of, I would even say this, I've seen it myself, I'm going to speak from my own experience, is that they will say a lot of things about how great you are in some way, but they don't do it to where, some of them, where you really see it as a whole bunch of flattery, okay, being hit, you love bombing, and that you're being hit with. It can seem somewhat like something somebody would say naturally, in a way. Someone who's not narcissistic would say, but they do it. My phone's gonna mess up here. But they do it so much that it is that love bombing. It is a way they pull you in, a way they reel you in, from the get-go. Okay, maybe my phone won't do it here. But anyway, and it doesn't have to be romantic relationships. Now, in the past, anything that I remember when I was a student, not everything, about this kind of topic was mainly about domestic violence. That's what a lot of it fell under. It was domestic violence and abuse. They didn't so much say different names. I knew a lot about sociopaths and paths. See, I can't say the TH, which didn't work. And I knew a lot about that. Psychopaths, sociopaths. They weren't back then considered the same, by the way. Now they fall under antisocial personality disorder, but I knew, and I remembered at first I said that I didn't remember, but yeah, there was some about narcissism too, and it just wasn't to the extreme today. I think they put everything it's abusive under narcissistic, narcissism. So now here we go. Okay. But yeah, this doesn't have to be a romantic partner that love bombs you. It can be anybody really that you run across, and somehow befriend or something. But they will flatter you so much that it gets them everything they want. In other words, they will do it constantly, but you're not totally aware of it. That's what they're doing. You're flattered for certain. That it's great that if somebody appreciates you all of a sudden. But they know that they search to find what it is that you need. And what do you need somebody to tell you? And that you don't know it, but often you're giving it to them. You're telling them. See, that's where I'm afraid it goes into blaming the victim. Because these are master manipulators. These people, they are master manipulators. They can get stuff out of you that they need without you knowing it. So it's not really like you're doing it on purpose. It's not your fault. It's not. Okay, plain and simple. Okay, yeah. So if it can be a friend, somebody who's trying to befriend you, It could be someone who's trying to date you, whatever. Anybody. But now, they love bomb you until they reel you in. Now, what if you don't get reeled in? What happens then? What's the opposite of love bombing? Hate bombing. Oh, yes. And they will, and some of them will do this anyway. It's part of their thing to show you the anger, than they do the trauma bonding, but that's different. But no, if you aren't reeled into them at all, let's talk about that for a second. They will hate bomb you. Some people call it the smear campaign. I have too. They'll do a smear campaign on you. They will tell you how awful you are, if you even are still around or anything. Or they'll, do the smear campaign. They'll tell other people things about you that are not true. So if you ever hear, in my views, this is what I've always said, if you ever hear something about me, come to me and ask me. Come to me and tell me. Get it straight from the horse's mouth, kind of thing. Like, I said this or I said that. And I think strong people will do that. Strong people will find a way to, strong, healthy people will find a way to find out for certain if they've heard, something that's gossip. And you might not even want to listen to gossip. But yeah, that's the gossip, the malicious gossip is the hate bombing they turn to if you don't fall for their charms. Very charming people. So, anyway, I think I'll wrap this video up, but I don't know if I've covered everything, but the sun in my eyes and messing with it kind of messed it up. But anyway, if you want to subscribe, click the circle. If you want to watch another video on this channel, click on rectangles, like, and comment if you want. I'll talk to you